Hi guys, I wanted to talk about something that actually happened with me a couple of days before. So I was online in an article page where it was something relevant to India only. So there was discussion going on down in the comments, and somebody commented that British created India. I mean, British unified India, and today's Indian state, Indian geography that we see, Indian nation, is a successor of British Empire. Right. And so I've heard that couple of times before, but I was pretty shocked when a lot of Indians started agreeing with that person. And I only thought that it was just ignorance of people who never knew about India, and I was pretty shocked. Uh, you see, the problem with that idea is even if we take that idea, right, let us for a moment consider that that argument is absolutely right. That India never existed before. This nation that we are seeing today was created by British by unifying different small kingdoms, right? You see, if that was the case, then why did the Columbus use the word India or Indians when he said that I'm going to go and discover India, right? I'm gonna go and find India, and he actually tried finding India, but he ended up in US, and he called the Native Americans as Indians. And I think Columbus discovered US in somewhere in 1400s. Let's see. Yes, it was in 1492, and British Empire didn't start up until 1858. So that's almost 4 centuries different. Okay, let us even consider when East India Company came to India. East India Company in itself was founded in 1600s. So even if we take that, then they would have come to India in mid 1600s, 1670s during that time. So that's almost 100, years difference. Then how come he used the word India? How did he know that word India? Is the biggest mistake many people make is they think nation and state are same. I mean, there's no difference between nation and state, which is absolutely wrong. Nation is different, state is different. State is a political system as to how you govern a particular territory, right? So, for example, there is a land, there is a nation, and you have a parliamentary democracy. That is a state. Your governance system, it's a state, a common political system. Whereas nation is not just political system, political unit. It is a cultural unit, and it's a geographical unit. Of course, it's a geographical unit. And that was not the right thing to say. It was a cultural unit. So India existed long back, even before British. So was India prior to? I mean, let us take a simple example. You see, before British Empire, there were other empires that covered India, right? I mean, the length and breadth of India. The Mughals did, the Marathas did at one point of time. These are few prominent empires that did. Now you see, if not just Indians, even many Greeks and Arabs used to use that term. And was it a geographical expression? I mean, was it like when Arabs or Greeks talk about India, were they pointing out to a geography, a particular landmass? Absolutely, yes, they were. Because what people outsiders, so I'll be using two terms, outsiders and insiders. Insiders are the people who lived in a landmass which is called India, and outsiders are the foreigners who are there outside. So the Greeks, the Arabs, they identified a common set of cultural behavior in the people who used to live in this part of the world. I mean, in this particular geographical unit called India. And Greeks, Arabs, they called them Hindus. That particular people who had similar common culture, common set of beliefs, and who lived in this particular area. That's how you get the name Hindustan. That is one part of it. Now you see, let us just take the geography. If you, so that is just even the insiders, that is people who lived in this area within the geography, right? Even they themselves called, even they themselves thought as one. For example, let's take Kashmir. Where does the name Kashmir come from? And Kashmir existed long back. That name didn't come in recent past. It is there in 1600s, 1700s. So where did the word or the name Kashmir come? It is from an Indian rishi called, I think it was Kashipalya or something. I don't remember completely. Let's check. Kashyapa, yes. Sorry for that. So it was named after an Indian rishi called Kashyapa. That is the northernmost point of our geography, right? And the southern most point, that is Kanyakumari, was named after goddess Parvati. Goddess Parvati's name is Kanyakumari, right? And both have strong expressions, and both originate from Hinduism. Right? Both are he's a Hindu rishi and she's a Hindu goddess. So that's how you know the name, right? And even today, I mean, even back then, the Pandits who used to stay in Kashmir used to chant the same Vedas in the same way, just like a Brahmin or any person in southernmost point in Kanyakumari would chant. Now, how is it that possible if there was not a common cultural behaviors? So we can be pretty clear over there, and they themselves call us Bharat. Right, now forget Vedas, let's go to epics, right? Our Mahabharat. You take the best part of Mahabharat. You see, Mahabharat is nothing, if that is, I mean, Mahabharat was written thousands of years ago, right? Now, if Mahabharat that was thousands of years old, how come how come it was not written as Maha Kuru Vamsha or something? Because it was story of Kuru clan, the Pandavas and uh, Kauravas. They were descendants of Kurus who fought, right? But how come it's called Mahabharat? Because there has always been, even thousands of years ago, the writers always thought Kuru or Panchala or Matsya, all these kingdoms that you can see over here, if you look at the screen, Kuru, Matsala, all these kingdoms were a part of a broad philosophical system called Bharat. So you see, it is there. Now, other than that, if you look at Buddhism, which grew after your Hinduism, which grew when Ashoka became a very big emperor of India. Can you look at the area that he controlled? Almost similar to what British controlled during their peak. So even Ashoka controlled a similar area. Now after Ashoka, there was another great important person who took his birth in a southern village called Kaladi. His name is Adi Shankaracharya. Now you see, Adi Shankaracharya was a great reformer of Hinduism. I mean, he almost unified Hinduism. Whatever, for Hindus who don't know, whatever today's modern Hinduism is, whatever you think today's modern Hinduism is, it comes from Adi Shankaracharya. So, so let us see where Kaladi is. Kaladi. If I go to maps for Kaladi, okay, just zoom out a bit. Yes, so it is in Kerala, right? So if and Adi Shankaracharya was, his period of living was 1782 AD. He was born then. So back then, which is much earlier than both Columbus and British, right? Even back then, when he went out to establish mutts, the religious mutts, which would later become four biggest mutts for Hinduism, he didn't establish it only in Kerala. This is where he establishes mutts. What do you see? Four different corners of India. So if that was his imagination as to what an Indian nation was, so you see, this is not something that actually, it is not that we ourselves are talking about. It is how people who are outside us saw us like that. It is also how we saw ourselves. We are not something called creation of British. We are there since very long time. So next time when somebody says, I think you should know, I think people should read more about their own history, don't follow NCRT. NCRT is something really political. So you should look up to Google and you should find out as much as you can. And that's it. Thank you.